Venice offers you, there are a lot of museums, a lot of, you know, if you come stroll around, you just go into some of the museum and you just spend a day, make it work. Yes, absolutely. Yes. We have a facility. Also, this is our gift shop. That's where we have lace. If you want a lace on, I don't know. Even in here, there are toilets. But upstairs we have plating. It's been here over 150 years. Yeah. And actually, this now we turn this into like bazaar because we only sell all antiques, bronzes, marble, antique furniture. There's still the sign outside. But the main factory is in the island of Murano, which is about an hour by boat from here. But here you have such a variety. You have modern pieces, antique reproduction, jewelry, beautiful jewelry, ladies' paradise, and inferno. I want to show you not only one piece like all the tours that come here, but Larry is such a, you know, he said, I want to be, I don't settle for one, I want to, so we have to do,
I hope we can video those muscles.
now, you can take video, you can take photographs. Alright, now, my name is Hector, did you know that? No? Okay. Floriano's master here.
Buongiorno!
Buongiorno!
And he's going to make for you some well-bound. He's going to make a reproduction of 70% of the piece. So meantime you watch, you can just remind you the composition of glass. Glass is very easily put together. I mean, sand, everywhere you can find sand, soda, potassium, antimony and lime, but 80% are like fossilized, that is only sand, ordinary sand. It melted at about 2000 Fahrenheit. That's where the problem starts, because to reach such a high temperature, it always was a great problem. And now we use gas, so it's less problematic. But in the old days, they had to deal with charcoal or timber, so imagine it take out 2 weeks to do what they can do, let's say, overnight. But apart from that, everything is made the same. They use the same tools, only iron pipe, scissors, pinches, and tongs. So no machine, no molds. Everything is just done by hand.
I did a video of this, and then you can try it in your microwave when you
Yes, you have to know that Doriano learned this from his father. I mean, it's a family tradition. No such a thing as a school. Okay, so Venetian glass is really special. Each family's got their own, you know, style, and you can just tell by the look of it. Now, very important, once a piece is finished, it has to go inside the cooling oven to cool off gradually. Okay. And that will might take about 24 hours. At night time they turn off the oven. Next day they take it out and test. We still get about 30% ready, but then you can't help it. I mean, that's normal. They know. As a matter of fact, when I show you wine set, which is normally with 6 glasses, they have to double the number of glasses and choose the best 6 before they do the decoration. Yeah, that's how it works.
Cosa ti vuole animale?
Un
cavallo?
He's going to make something special for Larry because he's fussy, he wants everything done properly. Okay? So he's going to, I won't tell him what it is unless you told him. Have you?
I didn't know.
Okay, heat it up, it will melt all over again. Así no tengo mi esposa no lo so, it's a combination of heat and cold, so even though if you are too quick, the piece just will fall one side or the other, so everything has to be precise. You have to be fussy. They hate doing this because sometimes one of the legs just breaks and the people, you know.
She has to sign it. On third one first. Yes. No.
Difficult, but the second one, you know, often as I told you, or one of the legs is, yeah, break off, and, you know.
I wish you could work a little faster though.
A little faster.
Speed it up.
Yeah, because, you know, just the cold tools, when you touch glass is very sensitive. And then those pieces will have to, unfortunately, I know that you don't like to know that, but they have to be thrown out because the windows is open and there is a draft. So when there is a draft, glass, you make something beautiful and everything, you try to pull it down, and that the chances that it survives just one out of so many. Because glass, as I said, it doesn't want it's much hotter, but you can help it. But this for demonstration purposes, otherwise you won't walk in their room in the summer, especially. In fact, over there. And as I said, there are different artists to make. Okay, now I want to tell you something about colors, decoration, then if you have any question, I'm here to answer it. Okay? Now, colors, we use different minerals. So I will use this as color to explain you that blue, for instance, and just blue, it's cobalt. Okay? Then we have copper. Green like copper to make green glass. Red is more expensive than the equivalent in any other color. And I tell you why, because they have to use gold and selenium to obtain red.
Right.
In the old days, they use coins to color glass. They didn't use minerals like we do nowadays. So what they did, they just dropped some gold bar or just the coins into the furnace to get this color. Okay, so this is an old color. Okay, but they say that before this one came out, but only for a very short time. It's an incredible story. This. Why? Because in those days they were using sand from the lagoon, from the Lido. Okay, and Lido means sand. No, Lido. And at one stage, the heat patch of sand that was rich in manganese. But in those days, they didn't know that. So once they got that color out, they just jumped this side. The pebbles from the river came to the glass, just clarify glass and to get it finer and things on the water. All right, so now you learned that if you want to buy red, you buy it yourself. Because remember the difference in price, well, when it's something small, this is 62, this is 76. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, a bit rough, aren't I? Okay, sorry.
Wow.
Only that I know what I got in my hand, so they never let me down. Otherwise I won't be here. Okay, so, but anyway, don't go around the shop. Now I want to spend a word for this kind. This is the famous Baroque style. This is where we go back in the 15th century, the Renaissance. And Venetian wine, they came up with this incredible decoration. But there are some, just to show you, these are related to this. This works even earlier. Okay? And this, when the oven would reach only a certain temperature, they have this kind of mat. This is very delicate. This is, I mean, you wash it, but you can't use it, wash it every day, use it for other purposes. This is only look at me, but don't touch me. Okay, this is an old piece, maybe 50 years old, I don't know. Okay, this is, we used to have a museum with very beautiful pieces. Now, you know, times goes and people, you know, they're not willing to just spend money to enter a museum, and so we got all the pieces back, and now they are for sale. Okay, that's, anyway, this is the same idea. This is earlier. Okay, this maybe the idea is 14th, 13th century. Okay, this is then is later, and to do this they have to use the oven 3 times at least, but actually it's not 3 times, because look, when you see, this is what they start out with. They make the glass first. As I told you, they double the number, choose the best 6, and then on the next day they start the decoration. So on the first day they only apply 1 coating of 24 carats, which is here. Okay, this is what it looks like the gold you use when it's first hammered by hand, because this is not only 24 carats, but has to be reduced to almost paper thin. They make little books, and then they do all sort of decoration, also that big glass and other things. Okay, we use a lot of gold then, Venice, you know, for art. Even mosaic, you know, mosaic, the one that are on the church, they all have the gold. Okay, this is where also we made the mirrors. How clever! And this, it's all carved the other way around. See, that's why it's like a 3-dimensional. You can touch, and you won't feel it because it's the other way around. Yeah, see, and it's not only, you know, handy to have something like this, because if you spill Campari or red wine, it will spoil the whole thing. This is brass and practicity and beauty combined together. It's not very easy, but we made it. This one here, it's for instance 350 euro this tray. And then when you look at the mirror, and mirrors, you know, we have some here, but they can cost up to, you know, that one there is 850. This has got this beautiful. So this one you can use it also as a mirror when you're not using it as a tray. Okay. Right though. And we, in case there is something that you like, we ship it directly to your address with insurance and everything, as I told you. In case something is broken, just a picture and we replace it. Okay. So no worry. If you lose the invoice that we give you, don't worry, just because in here we work in connection. For instance, Columbus, when he came to America, they used to trade this for gold, and not because they were in Europe, not only here. And so they stopped making this, because to make this you have to provide yourself with a lot of this mosaic type of work. Okay. So you have to build, you can't just buy them over the counter in some shop. So the actual master that want to produce this had to make this. And to make this takes like 6 to 8 months to provide enough of this to then make not only one base, you have to make more than one if you want to make profit. Anyway, so what happened is that some years ago, 2 young, bold, young boy, my age, they are only 50 something, 55, maybe, newborn. And they decided, you know, they came from a family that learned how to make these. They saw their father, and they went back, they had all the design and things. And I can name them, because there are only 2 guys that make this. Okay, it's not that if you ask me, you know, I want 5 of these, no, you have to wait 5 years at least. So anyway, they first make this. So they start from the center, they add more glass one on top of the other, and originally it's like a big mass of glass like this, hold on to an iron pipe. Then they add another iron pipe, they heat it up, and then they stretch it. They stretch it for like 10 meters. Then they cut it every 3 feet this side, and they just store it away. When they have enough color, look in this little patch, you know, there are about, I don't know, 200 maybe, okay? Then they start cutting them. Of course, they have to, if they want smaller, they just reheat this and stretch them more, okay? They chop them, and they display them into an iron tray, similar to this, with a very long iron. They just introduce it to the oven, they plug with the heat all the beads together, And then by collecting a blister of clear glass, like he did when he started making the first base, just collects it all. So it's like a cylinder, and then slowly they blow it, and then they put it back into the oven. And after a long time, because if you do it too quickly, you stress all the beads, so you lose, because they become like lines. It's not, you don't see the beautiful, you see the design is so perfect and so on, okay? And then eventually, when the piece is finished, you put it under the light.
Oh my goodness.
See?
Oh,
That's something really. And we are proud that in New York, some of you are from New York, you know, Corning Museum, Glass Museum, they have a bowl made in the 15th century. Amazing the value of that. And we are proud because they recognize, you know, Venetian